This is the big one. What up guys, it's Carl here back with another episode, and today we are testing out the most expensive smartphones that you can get, the cream of the crop, the brand new iPhone XS Max, and of course the Galaxy Note 9. They're over $1,000. This guy starts off at $1,099, this guy right at $1,000, $999, which is a ton of money. Just remember that this is in 128 gigs, this is in 64. You can upgrade both to 512, that will run you close to $1,500, and $1,249 for the Note 9. That is a ton of money and a ton of loot. And even though both are 512 gigs, theoretically you can get the Note 9 up to 1 terabyte with a 512 micro SD card. I think that's nuts, but you do have the option for that over here. This year around, I'm gonna start off with the cameras because I think that's the major difference. We've got to a point where performance isn't really a question. If you're buying a flagship, it will crunch through everything. Multitasking, AR, playing graphic intensive games, both of course can crunch through. We have the A12 Bionic chip and we have the Snapdragon side over on the Note 9. Camera-wise on the back, they both have very similar specs as well. Both have a dual 12 megapixel setup. I would say the key difference on the Note 9, it's one of the first phones that have dual aperture, that along with the Galaxy S9, S9 Plus. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. I won't say much until after the pictures kind of roll through. Pixel 2 still takes the king of the crop, even though it's a year old, which is pretty crazy. I'll be sure to compare the Pixel 3 to the XS. Once that comes out, I'll be there at launch in New York. I found the biggest improvement to the XS on how it figures out what the subject is and what's in the background. Dynamic range is also much improved, and that's coming with Smart HDR. Both, though, are still good. I would perhaps give the little bump up to the XS. Curious to hear your thoughts, though, down below. Flipping around to the front, display-wise, both are honestly gorgeous to look at. 6.5 inches and 6.4 over on the Note 9. I've kind of mentioned that the Note 9 is one of my favorite displays, and that remains true even with the XS. Spec-wise, the Note 9 still takes the cake. It's Super AMOLED Quad HD and has a higher pixel density. It is the definition of crispy, and if you really look closely, it is a tad bit sharper than the XS Max. Don't get me wrong, it's a Super Retina panel, it's OLED this time, it's still great to look at, and I actually prefer the bezels over on the XS Max. We have the tiny chin on the bottom and the top of the Note 9, you just have to deal with the notch life over on Team iPhone. Build-wise, I don't think you can go wrong here, and they feel like premium smartphones. It feels justified for spending this kind of money. On the backs, we've got them both completely made out of glass. Of course, on the XS Max, we've got the new gold color in addition to the space gray and silver. On the Note 9, we have the beautiful blue finish, which I'm actually super fond of. You'll just have to be careful, as I know both are notorious for getting scratches. Just be sure to protect yours. I usually have a D-brand skin just to make sure my devices stay fresh and clean. Battery-wise, we've got 4,000 milliamps over on the Note 9. This has easily lasted me the entire day, even with heavy use. It's one of the best features of this guy. And over on the iPhone XS, Apple hasn't mentioned the milliamp hours. I know that someone will tear this down shortly, but this guy, on the other hand, has still lasted me the entire day, and that's what I would say was the weakest point of last year's iPhone X. I always had to charge that guy up, and the main reason why I'm upgrading to the XS Max. Both this year are IP68 certified, but you just have to remember the Note 9 may have some extra little specs that you're looking for. It does, of course, have the good old headphone jack that I'm sure some of you will miss and you won't see on the iPhone. And in terms of operating systems, we finally have iOS 12, which is a huge update to the XS. iOS 11 felt a bit incomplete. I find that iOS 12 kind of takes care of all the little bugs and tweaks and is more suited to the gesture-based iPhone. Over on the Note 9, we've got TouchWiz running over top of Android 8.1. I still think you can get by. TouchWiz has gotten better. Of course, just shy away from Bixby, and if you really want, you can always throw a stock launcher on this guy. Anyways, curious to hear your thoughts on the brand new iPhone XS versus the Note 9, and very curious which device you would end up getting. I honestly think it really comes down to if you're an iOS user or on Android. They really are the top end of the spectrum for both. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have any other smartphones you want to see tested against the brand new XS or even XS Max, let me know down below, and I'll catch you guys in one of those next episodes or in one of my vlogs. Peace!